The Cannabis Show is for information only. You should always consult with a qualified and licensed physician or other medical care provider.
Welcome to the Cannabis Show. Today, Kate reads the top headlines in cannabis, Basil introduces us to his new bud, and we answer your questions. All that and more, keep watching.
Alberta Gaming and Liquor Commission has added a new course. The AGLC now has mandatory certification for those seeking employment in the recreational cannabis industry. The course, called Sell Safe, certifies workers as QCWs, or Qualified Cannabis Workers, and it's designed to help retail cannabis staff understand laws and policy around cannabis sale. The cost of the course, which can be taken online, is $25. The federal government was hoping to legalize recreational cannabis use by July, but have already indicated that deadline could be pushed at least a few weeks to give provincial governments and police time to prepare for the new law. Among the concerns from the Senate committees, further clarification from the United States about the treatment of Canadian travelers at the U.S. border who admit to using cannabis, as well as concerns about allowing people to grow cannabis in their residences when C-45 is passed. It also suggested Ottawa negotiate revenue sharing agreements with provinces and municipalities, and that it specify what authority provinces and territories will have to regulate possession and cultivation of cannabis plants. Trudeau's quote, "Legalization is not an event, it's a process, and that process will continue." The Senate is expected to vote on the bill before the end of June. In world news, in March of this year, the UN warned countries like Canada and Jamaica to keep cannabis illegal, and that legalization would violate an international treaty dated 1961, indicating cannabis should only be used for medicinal and scientific purposes and not for food, shelter, clothing, medicines, or for religious or spiritual purposes. In April of this year, the UN and the World Health Organization reconsidered and are now prepared to re-examine the ban status.
Basil, Kate, Hart, and myself, Chris, and man, that's good news, you know, like for like people who are looking for jobs and such, especially within Alberta right now, like you can go do a little course, Sell Safe.
Yeah, $25 online.
And, you know, I mean, that's going to help in the future. I mean, in the medical aspect, I guess you don't really read it right now, but if anything to deal with the selling of cannabis.
It's mandatory, right?
It is mandatory. Yeah. And it's put on by the AGLC, so it's the same people who give you or bring you the tests for ProServe and for gambling.
And at that price, like, just do it.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's educational for sure. Yeah.
Now, do you need a police note to go with that as well? I can't remember. I'm halfway through doing the test right now.
Do you need a what?
A police note or anything like that? I thought.
Not that I know of.
I think you just get the.
Yeah, I just did the test. It was pretty easy.
Get the test and good for 5 years, right?
Good for 5 years.
Awesome. That's great. That's good.
Yeah.
And the World Health Organization, this finally coming around on cannabis. What took so long?
I don't know if it's so much as finally coming around, but they're starting to look at it, right? So it's a big step for a group.
Away, but
The UN, interestingly enough, the Secretary General of the UN right now used to be the Prime Minister of Portugal when they decriminalized. So he's all about global decriminalization and healthcare around that instead of the punitive method for drugs.
Well, at least they're finally sort of coming around. And you were mentioning the Senate hold up here in Canada for like rec cannabis.
No surprise, really. Those are great points they bring up.
Yeah, a lot of amendments they're going to ask for, I think, but we'll see where it goes. You know, we have another reading, I think, June 7th is the next time it goes to the Senate for a vote.
That's a big number. So when, let's go with when it goes legal for rec, when's it going to happen?
I'm going to say November 5th.
November?
Yeah.
Okay, any reason why?
This year.
No, this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like The Price is Right, you want to guess.
420. November 6th.
Well, 11/11 is kind of taken, so I'm going to go with my birthday, November 20th.
Oh, okay.
I guess we're going late.
Yeah, Scorpio.
I'm going to go with September 17th. So
this year too.
Yeah. Like shortly after the summer. I guess that technically still would be summer, as it doesn't end until the 21st of September. That's going to be my guess.
I'm saying April 2019.
Oh, you're going like a year
There's so many
out.
little fickle things that are getting in the way, like, you know, real estate boards and stuff like that, growing in houses and all these different things in the news. Everyone's trying something. I think everyone wants a piece of the pie too. But anyways, those are predictions. Hold us up on those, I guess. It'd be a little bit of fun to see where they go. Crusader of medical cannabis in the world of medical cannabis here in Canada. Well, we're going to find out a lot more about him right now with Basil's Buds.
This is Basil's Buds, where I talk about someone awesome who I wish was my bud. Some of you are likely familiar with the MMAR. This was a group of rules intended to regulate a Canadian patient's access to cannabis for medical purposes. These regulations were flawed in some ways and did not do well to serve Canadians who were making the choice to go with plants over pills. Thanks to some dedicated and courageous citizens who tirelessly pushed the government towards change, we now have a somewhat better set of regulations known as the ACMPR. One of the individuals that we ought to stand up and thank for their courage in the fight is Matt Murnau. Murnau is an Ontario man who knows what medicine works for his symptoms, and he had every intention of having a quality, reliable source of accessing that medicine. His court case went a long way to highlight the fact that Canadians choosing cannabis were not being supported by the healthcare system in a fair and equal manner. The case also pointed out that the current regulations were unconstitutional. The ACMPR may be far from perfect, but it has already opened the doors to so many patients who would have previously not had the opportunity to choose cannabis over traditional pharmaceuticals. And every day, the regulations are evolving. In this spirit, I want to throw out a big thank you to Matt and all the other concerned citizens and activists who have pushed and keep pushing to have cannabis as an option for their healthcare, or should we say, a true healthcare.
Let's all give, you know, thanks to Matt. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's done a lot for medical cannabis for sure. Okay, so you can ask us anything. It's that time, and today's question comes from Ryan and says, I recently saw that MedRelief have come out with a PIN number for medical cannabis. Will this be easier for insurance to cover costs through work benefits?
It's definitely a step in the right direction, right? Like, it's something that's already a viable option for an insurance company. It's something they use already. So the fact that MedRelief has taken that step to put those PIN numbers on each of their products, it's a step in the right direction.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, we need all the help we can get, so bravo, MedRelief.
Absolutely, laying the groundwork at least. Yeah, because they can't do the DIN.
Yeah, exactly. So they're just kind of pushing it for it, making it easier on the government to go, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, and being that they're, you know, the medical grade standard, I think it's fitting that they were the first ones to attach those to their products.
Yeah.
Is it easy to swap out, you figure? Like to go from a PIN to a DIN when the time is right?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Would that ever actually officially change just because?
I don't think it would be possible. I think that, you know, by essence, the DIN number is a product that is, you know, repeatable every single time. Right. You know, it's got a certain makeup, I think.
Yeah, but a plant is a plant, right?
That's right, it's going to change.
No, always a little different. Well, great question, Ryan, and hopefully we helped out there. Thank you for watching. And if you do have a question for us here on the panel, just send it to the Cannabis Show at naturalhealthservices.ca, and we'd love to answer your question as well. Again, thanks for watching, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Cannabis Show.